Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Rick. The topic I was commenting with Rick and Eric is that we are trying to come up with a budget for the operation in the field by distributing the Oasis system. So whatever product we are going to take with us for delivering to the people in poverty. And we find that it is a different thing that going into the market, the open market, because we have to take the products, and the people have to really be able to accept them, and use them properly. And that our experience in Mexico and in getting things, whatever things we deliver to the people, the efficiency of the real use is very low, because in poverty we find a very different, very low level of consciousness, and solving the problem of poverty for us has meant a different approach in coming up with a promotion of the change of consciousness of the people. The real poverty for us is not in money or things or whatever, but in attitudes. And that is what we have to change, the beliefs of the people. And so we are considering that we might have to have a service, a field service for helping the people to rise or improve their level of consciousness, and then they can accept and use properly the products that we will be giving them in hope of helping them get out of poverty. We call it the liberating or freedom of poverty, not fighting it, not changing it. And we want to know if the Keshe Foundation has a policy to follow, because it implies different organization, if it that for just delivering it or selling it, which you are not going to sell. But in it means a different budget also. That is the question. Is there any?
Yeah, what policy? It is. Let me explain something very, very simple. If you go back to one of my talks very recently, I spoke about the situation in Iran where 5% were carrying 95% of illiteracy. People at the moment will see the CO2 kit as a jewelry box because it's a beautiful jewelry box. The only way the progress will come and the change will come is that when this jewelry box delivers its jewels, which is they can put it there and they can see what it produces, as I call, is a milking cow. They can use the white stuff which looks like a milk for creating energy to light up their house without paying any bill, or by producing heating that they can cook. And then you start seeing, they will understand very quickly what this technology is about. Very quickly. You don't need to teach them. At the moment, the problem is one way. As we heard from Sohail, he's contacted the battery manufacturers for the, for the mobile phones to see how small they can make it, whatever he's doing with it. We know other operations around the world in different levels are getting done in respect to creation of more powerful energy sources of this material. The policy and the procedure at the moment is to give as much and as many as possible to the ones who can afford it, that on the back of it we can have the units for the ones who can't afford it. At the moment, now that this week the units, CO2 units are coming out, hopefully the delivery started this week. as we were promised by Sohail, we come to a new junction. And this junction is, can we find enough people to buy these units? Or vice versa, what I have discussed with Sohail is the ones who do not care but use and create all the problems and CO2 to the benefit of mankind are prepared to take their part in cleaning up and producing the CO2. What does this mean? The poor people, which is, let's say, 60% of the nation, never take a flight. 10% of the rich people do nothing but fly. They see it as part of the luxury of being rich. Now, what is the market? Airlines, petrol stations. People in the society where to them being good or looking to be good, doing good is a positive point. So, we have so many millions of people taking flight a year. You have to go to the airlines of your country. Pardon? Can you hear me?
Microphone just a bit there, thank you. Yeah, I think so.
So, you go to the airlines. You put a unit at the cost of whatever to the airlines. A lot of people like to do good and show to be good. Airlines are one of the biggest customers for CO2 units. Now they sell trees and nobody knows where these trees are going to. 10, 20 million easy can be given to the airlines in South America plus. That should give you enough to give to the poor people. But now, by the time you have done your phase, the other products will come online that the poor people understand this is not a jewelry box. This is a new energy system. They have to see it, they have to feel it. In opening the university in the next few weeks, one of the first spin-offs is for production of food and energy and production of clean water. So they can see the benefit of it. This is what it is, not to educate them. Nobody needs to understand what a GANS is, but somebody can understand if I have a dirty water and my child eats and gets a disease, and I can drop 2 of these things in there and it comes out of the milking cow forever, they will value this thing more preciously than the cow.
There we are.
Yeah, we are here. Just 1 second, please. Just give me 1 second, please. I'll join you in a minute. Hello, yes. Sorry about this. We received a call. I couldn't accept the call. I had to stop. What happened? So you have the process of to teach the what you call people who don't understand or very poor, which are not with you. The job of the Keshe Foundations is to provide the system and show the benefit of it. This is the only thing you need to do. In time, because they use it, then they can do other things with it, and then they educate themselves. There are no internets in most of the, back part of the cities. People can't afford it. They live in huts. So the whole process at the beginning is to spread amongst the people who care and they understand the advantage of what this thing does to them, for them. And the surplus of it, or what you call the byproduct of it, is to give to the poor that they initially use it because of its benefit. And one of the things which is primarily one of the main targets is to clarify correctly and identify the use of these materials for food and water cleaning. We'll get everything certified as fast as possible. So you don't need to teach. You need to provide and understand, because we know this from the research in Africa now, that these materials can purify water. But now we do the full extension of clarity of how much they clean, what they clean, how they purify, and then we go to immediately, simultaneously, with the application and usage as food. That's all the poor people is concerned about. Where they can receive what it does to them, what it gives them, without them understanding knowledge. Most of them don't even speak the brochure it gives them, means nothing to them. So, in a way, we are not trying to create Robin Hoods to rob the rich and give to the poor, but we use the condition which is available to introduce new material, new ethos, and new conditions, where the rich wants to clean up what they've done wrong with their fuels and flights, and through it we give energy and food and other things to the poor, where in the long run you take the sacrifices of the poor away, and at the same time the rich are happy that they've done some cleaning up of what the damage they've done to the environment. But in this process we create points that both come to understand it's a new way of doing things. It's the new way of producing conditions where everybody has the benefit of the new technology. The technology will not teach no child. The technology will not, change the course of the life of a child which is going hungry to bed every night, but allows for the child, for the family of the child, to have the freedom to know that the child does not go hungry to bed. At the same time, in being able to provide the basic necessities of life, they can have enough to educate their children. The program is not today, tomorrow, next week. It's a long-term program. It's a long-term change. We will not reach every single man by tomorrow morning or by the end of the year. But we reach the knowledge that across majority of the people, that they understand the ethos and understand the technology, that through them they teach and they live the new ethos and they create a condition for the others who don't have it. You got to understand something very clearly. I have worked in African nations for a long time. I don't think anyone has seen more poverty and the condition of poverty than I have, being from Northern Hemisphere, living in Europe. I understand the level of poverty. I understand the level of hunger. I understand what it means because I worked and I lived amongst the African people. I listened to them, I understood their problem, I seen and I've been with them in their homes, where the clothes they wear is the only thing covers them at night. Maybe a cardboard box on top. I understand what it means, but at the same time, it needs, and now that we have released the units, to be able rapidly to develop the food, the energy, the water. An African doesn't need 100 watts lamp in every room. 20 of them, 15 of them, 8 of them live in one room. One light bulb is enough, and one heating is enough to keep everybody warm. It's not that where we live, each child have to have his own room and his own toilet and everything else. We have to change the standard of the thinking and the ethos of living by being able for them to have everything that they can live a dignified life. And the people in the world at the moment are becoming conscious of their own wrongdoing, airlines, petrol stations, what you call high streets, supermarkets. You approach major supermarkets with these CO2 units that they can go out at €9.99 or dollars or whatever. You will see how people buy, but you have to tell them what is going to with it and what they can do. And this is what, now that the units are getting manufactured, with the research we release from the university in the coming weeks and months, we'll show you what you can tell them they can use it for. Hold it till we tell you what you can do, how to do it. We introduce units for mixing of the materials for food, agriculture, and the rest. You can't go out the first day and say, this is a kit, this is the food and the water and everything and energy. We put this out, they understand what they are doing, and then at the same time you give and you wait for the people to be able to distribute, that they can use it for what they can, what is applied for. This is the change. It's not just we want to get to the poor. Poor will not touch a single box. These boxes, as I said, become jewelry boxes. If you cannot deliver food, energy, and clean water to every man with every single box. You sell 1,000 units. Half will be able to buy, let's say you can buy under 300 units to give to the poor. What would they do with it? If by the time you sell 1,000 units, you're ready, only thing you need to do is just to add a leaflet to it. You don't need to make a new unit. The units are ready, then you can tell in the leaflet, this is what you do, you can clean the water. If you do with this, what comes out, that's all they are concerned about. Even with pictures, because most of them cannot even read. This is your job. This is the job of the Keshe Foundations.
Okay, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, so explain.
We have another conclusion from what you say, which is very, very important and very clear. And that is that in those groups of what we call in condition of poverty, it is a long-term program, and we have to come up with a system of maintaining the view of that region and how it is evolving and how the consciousness is evolving, how it is spreading among other people, and we have to be ready to fulfill the requirements that are coming after that. The new people that is coming into the program. That is something that I derive from what you say. Is that right?
In so many ways, yes. But you got to realize, and I explained this before, is that this is not a screw or this is not a new engine. This is a new source of energy. This is a new, which through it, most of the needs of human beings' daily need can be met. And due to its simplicity, everybody will understand very quickly. We will learn from the slums when the need is there for them. They come up with new ways of using the systems that we can teach to others. There's a misconception, and I understood this for years ago, some 20 years ago. Just because people live in absolute poverty does not mean they're not intelligent and they do not know how to convert the condition and situations to their benefit. What this means, once you give these units to the poor, and you give them one line of thoughts, then mix the systems together, they make themselves, as we call, the rice, the chips, and the meat all together from different combinations. And then we have to learn them, to learn from them how to do it and teach others. They are highly intelligent people, extremely intelligent, because poverty has made them to think to survive, and the instinct of survival have made them very wise. Doesn't matter where they are, in Africa, in South America, in Asia, anywhere they are. Poor people are one of the most intelligent people I've ever seen. Because to be poor and to be able to survive in the environment means you have to find an instinct for living. And so you become innovative. You find a way to live day by day by whatever means. So that pain makes you, that suffering makes you very intelligent. Its only thing is they don't have the tools. There are some who are not, we understand. But majority of the people who live in the slums are highly intelligent people. And because they forever struggle to come out of that condition, they become very tough, very intelligent, very highly sophisticated, elaborate ways of thinking. And this is all they need, is for us to give them this tool. They then will show us how we can use the tool. And this is something which I always thought, once we release this technology, we'll do that. We'll bring the rich man to go into the slums to learn from the poor how to make things that he can live a better life, because the guy in the poor countries will always say, when the war comes, when the hunger comes, the only people who live a luxury life compared to the ones in the West are the people in Africa and South America and everywhere else, the poor people. Because they have learned how to live with the minimum and live a happy life. If we unplug one of the main power stations around Europe, half of the Europe will die of darkness. And the freezers go, we all on the street, what can we do? In Africa, they never had freezers, they never had power supply. But they know how to get their daily life and how they live, and from them, billions have been created. So, this is the wrong way of thinking that we need to help them. We need to give them a way that they teach us how to help ourselves when the disaster comes, as inside the Système Oasis.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Keshe, we have, it makes me think of different things. I also have a very big experience in poverty area in Mexico. And I agree very, very, very much with what you say. And I have a different experience, which is very concurring with what you say. I worked with poor people, with the groups, without giving them anything, not taking to them new resources or new solutions, just by working with them with reflection and asking if they knew who they are. They have the loss of dignity is poverty, as you say, and that's okay. Poverty comes from the loss of dignity of the man and of the woman, both, and arises many wrong attitudes, both in men and in women, and that is what causes poverty. There is abuse, and there is a low value of the people, of themselves. And if we work with that, if we reflect with them, and who are you, and why are you in this condition, and why do you believe that you are poor? Because you believe that you can, because you believe that you are not, you don't deserve. Let's review that and tell me, how are you educating your kids? Oh, in the same way. Well, that's mean the change that has put you there. Let's see if we can change it. And with those reflections, people evolve, people's consciousness evolves, and they find themselves the solutions. We didn't use a dollar, a cent to help them. It was incredible how they came up with ideas, with a new relationship in the house, with new treat to the kids, and that took them away from poverty because they could find a job or how to sell things that they could do. and they found, let's say, that dignity that you do. So if we take them things that serve them to live better, I think we have a much better situation. We will be very effective in liberating them from the belief of poverty. And that is concordant with what you say, that it is not one moment or one shot at activity. It has to have permanency for catching up their advances in taking those advances to those who advance will help those who haven't advanced, and that creates a network incredibly fast. We started with 20 people, and in a couple of years there were 500 families liberating from those beliefs. So with the help of this technology, I am sure we will be able to succeed in the purpose of banning poverty from the face of the earth, of humanity.
You see, the point is that do you know it's an old English say? Give a man a fish, you have to feed him all the time. Teach him how to fish, he will feed himself. We don't need to sell any units or build any units for them. In the coming time, when you can put these on national televisions and on the radios, and people can make it 1 or 2 cents or 10 cents themselves in the back garden, then they understand what comes out is free, that this is what the purpose is. The whole structure is tackling the two sides together. One, from the people who abuse, and at the same time allow the one who don't have to become rich enough to be able to live the life. There are plans in the coming time. We will launch the Keshe Foundation International Radios that we teach daily people how to do it in different languages, how to provide food, how to use this for energy, how different kind of energies can be done. There are things we needed a base, and now with the university we have that base. The students will teach, and the teachers will become the students, and vice versa, and we'll change the situation. But now that the units have gone into production in China, and now I know you requested from Sohail how you can set it up, how the other countries are going to do it. But these are just the beginning. Our main job with the university is, in a way, very rapidly to bring in the application and implication. And this is what we're going to do. Very rapidly, within the next first 2 or 3 months, the spin-offs which become the use of the technology will become the main part of the development. It means the spin-offs of the Keshe Foundation will never make profit, because they spread the knowledge freely to the people. But we create employment for the science and knowledge and other people. And this is what the purpose is, and this is where I see, and I'm planning in a further distance, in a few weeks, in a few months, people don't need to pay $35 or $50 for a unit. All of us have seen it. We produce it in a bucket. In showing the pieces you make to the poor, then they will copy it, and then we've done our job. And then through it we'll find peace. It's a very simple way, but it'll be done very sharp and very quick.
You were considering you have to leave, I think.
No, it's okay. My appointment is cancelled while you're on the line, so we can carry on.
Okay, good.
That's what I was talking about. The call I was going on here. So it's cancelled tonight, so we can stay a little bit longer. But it's important.
Carry on, then, great.
It's important to understand that it's not making the units to give to the poor. If you can sell enough units in your country, all you need is to get your access to the radio stations, get your access to the television stations. Show them and they'll do it at no cost. Then you serve your purpose. Your surplus material, surplus funds to give materials to the people freely, yes. But teach them. Teach them that the illiterate man can see, can buy this 10 cents in a bucket, there's a CO2, is food, how it changes to energy, and what it is. This way you reach millions in a matter of very short time. But how many buckets and how many CO2s you're going to sell? You have to use the CO2 units as a spring for spreading the knowledge in a way that people can see the benefit of it. So you have the CO2, you have the health paths, you have the other systems coming in. But essentially for energy and the others, you are doing the development. We are doing it here in Italy with our groups. Sohail is doing it, and other people are doing the same. But now with the science of the knowledge which comes from the institute and how to apply the technology, you all need to do is to teach a man through media how a 10 cents, a dollar can change him to have food, energy, and how he can do it. This is where your breakthrough will come. This is where the effective technology will become applicable around the world. The only barrier and the change will be the language. You teach the Spanish how to make a caustic and put a caustic in a copper in a caustic, and that becomes the source of their food for the rest of their life. They'll find the copper and they'll find the zinc. And there'll be merchants of caustics very soon. But then you show them a little electricity, can produce the GANs of the material, as we've seen. You've done it yourselves, and we've seen it with a guy last week. This is where the change is going to come, not with you sending every unit to every little back village to a woman down the line. Everybody has, majority of the people have access to a radio or a television or whatever in some cities around. When you teach it, they make it for their own community and you reach it. You can't go to the remote places. This is how the developments and the change will come. Being able to reach the mass media through the direct research in the university, and you being able to finance your own nations with the other bits to be done. One plate to be nano-coated, it costs less than $1. And if you know that dollar will feed your child, will clean the water for you, not your child to get diarrhea and all sorts of diseases, and that plate can do other things like producing free energy for you through the conversion, they will understand it very soon. You reach half of Brazil and half of Mexico and half of South America in less than 2 months. Because people talk. This is what I've done.
It's encouraging to listen to you with this. I agree 100% with it, and I am happy. I'm glad we brought this aspect to this workshop. Okay, Mr. Keshe, thank you very much. We are happy with these your comments, and there are many things that I would like to talk to you, but that will be for another occasion. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other question?
Well, there's a statement from John Tracy, who says, "Tell Mr. Keshe Ireland sends its love."
We've seen it. Thank you very much. You know, we have a very close connection to Ireland. We have a very, very close connection to Ireland.
Would you like to quickly talk about that, or what do you think?
My sister is married to a beautiful guy from Northern Ireland, or what you call from Ireland. And I have nieces who are half Irish, and our love goes back to you. I love the island. I've been there so many times, and I think it's a beautiful country. And it was good. As you know, we were involved in the peace progress in Northern Ireland in the past, and it's nice to see the fruit of your work, that people don't need cross borders to have weddings, because in the past they couldn't have weddings in Northern Ireland because they could be attacked anytime. I've been attending weddings in the north and the south just because of the peace and the war, and we have a lot of love and care for Ireland. I hope you enjoy the peace. It took a lot of sacrifice and risks, and it was worth it.
Hopefully that can be spread, that same attitude can spread around the rest of the world. That's part of your work now.
I have a beautiful brother-in-law. It's the only brother-in-law I have, and he's Irish. And we have a lot of love and care for that island. Any other questions?
I think we can wrap it up for today. Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, and thanks to all the translators and folks who are listening.
Thank you indeed. So we meet on Thursday morning.
Yes, the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up next.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. A very, very nice section. Very nice. Vielen Dank.
That was Caroline, my wife. Thanking you in Spanish.
I thought it was a new person on the call here. I couldn't figure out where that was coming from. Thank you.
We thank your work for what you are doing for the Spanish community around the world. And more or less through you, other people are learning, because now all the workshops are listened by different people around the world who speak different languages.
Okay, great. I think that wraps it up, eh?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Okay, and so ends this Spanish-speaking workshop. Thank you, everybody, for attending.